Om Shanti. How are you, dear brothers and sisters? Hope you are all doing fine, and I'm fine too. Today we are going to discuss about the topic that if it's possible to establish peace on the whole planet Earth. Is it possible? Because we see right in front of our eyes that the world is getting worse and worse. So if that's the case, is it possible at all to establish peace through the world? If it is, what's the method? What should we do to establish peace on earth? Because everybody is trying to achieve peace, whether it is a political organization or if it is an individual. Everybody's aim is to remain peaceful, but that doesn't seem possible, which is why we are struggling throughout our life. So how is that possible? And was there any time in history that there was only peace through this earth? So was there any time? Are we aware of such time at all? Because throughout the history we've been saying that the kings, emperors, they're also fighting, they're also killing people. So it seems to us that there was no peace at all throughout the history. So if it was not there in the past, how can we believe that we can achieve it in the future? So we should have seen in the past, only then we can achieve it in the future. So if there was peace on earth, when was that? If there's going to be peace on earth, when is that going to be? And who is going to establish that peace? And what's the method? These are the things that we are going to cover today. Because everybody is trying to stop war, but it keeps increasing. The threat increases day by day. No matter what we do, we still see right in front of our eyes that world is facing threats. So how to stop it? Is it possible at all? So what is peace? We have to define peace correctly. Only then we can think of ways to achieve peace. For example, if there is no war between two countries, does it mean people from those two countries are at peace? Well, there is no war, that's it. It doesn't mean they are at peace, right? There will be family problems, there will be professional problems, health problems. So how do you think they will be at peace? Because only if no single individual on this planet has lost peace, only then we can say that the whole world is peaceful. So every single individual should be filled with peace to make this world peaceful. So is that possible to achieve? Can we achieve that by making the whole world adopt a single religion? Will that bring peace to us? Because if that's true, or single way, for example, there are countries where communists rule. So does it mean people in those countries are peaceful? Whether no family problems, whether no peaceless issues at all uh, in all individuals of that particular country? No, that's not the case, right? And also there are countries where there is only one religion. So does it mean they are peaceful? The people there remain peaceful? That's not the case also, because we've been seeing reports that people from those countries escape from that country and reveal the fact that that country is hell. So even single religion theory is not going to get peace to humans. So let's see if it is possible for humans to establish peace at all. Right from Gandhi, because Gandhiji is famous for getting independence peacefully. That's what they use. But did they actually remain at peace during the independence struggle? Because they were protesting. They may not have used weapons, but still they protested. So when you protest something, the first thing that you lose is peace, right? So even after getting independence, do Indians remain peaceful? Nope, it's not the case. Still there are several protests going on. Sometimes it end up in violence as well. Even if it did not end up in violence, it still make the protesters involved peaceless. Not only the protesters, even those who are being protested, even they remain peaceless. So the peaceless spread throughout the world. So how to achieve peace then? Because no human methods can bring peace. That's the only thing that that's quite obvious throughout these examples. So who is going to establish peace and when? And if the earth was peaceful once, when was that? We need, that may not be accurate, at least it should be approximate, right? So that's what we are going to reveal in this video. The world was actually peaceful 2500 years back, because all the history that we have, they did not go back to 2500 years. The time span of them was just they passed 2000 to 2500 years. We do not have any history what happened before 2500 years on this earth. Yes, this earth was peaceful before 5000 years till the last 2500 years. So it was, that's the thing, the first 2500 years on this earth, people who lived there, they enjoyed, experienced peacefulness, blissfulness. They were very happy. They were not even aware of what suffering is. So that was actually a kingdom. Only a particular part of India was there, and that was heaven. Actually, the heaven that we read from religious texts, that actually existed in a small part of India. That's the only part that existed above the ocean level. The rest of the world were immersed under devotion for the first 2500 years. So the first 2500 years was heaven. Everybody remained peaceful. There was no contradictory opinions between people. There was no arguments or fight between the family members. So it was that peaceful. And after the completion of first 2500 years, people slowly started experiencing peacelessness. There were quarrels, and that keeps increasing gradually, and now we know the planet's condition is just like this. So there were fights between husbands and wives, strikes for several reasons. People are getting addicted to alcohol, and there are also hunger problems. So also the natural calamities, everything happened on this earth only for the last 2500 years. And before that, there was no natural calamities, there was no any sort of peacelessness on this earth. So it was there. Peacefulness was there on this planet 2500 years back. And when is that going to happen again? It's again going to happen within the next 20 years. How is that going to happen? And we need to know the actual reason how we lost peacefulness. Only then we can work on how to get rid of those reasons, so that we can again be at peace. So in the first 2500 years, they remained peaceful because they respected each other's opinions. Even there, they got married, but the wife did not have any intention to oppose his husband for her right. But even the husband, he did not have any intention of keeping his wife under control. They didn't even have that thought, which is why they remained peaceful. And there were servants as well. And the owner did not try to suppress the rights of his employees or servants, and the servants did not have any plan to protest against his owner for his rights. So they did not have that thought. They do not know what protest means. They did not know what worrying is. They did not know what crying is. They did not know what suffering is. So that's the main reason they remained very happy. They were all like kids. Kids do not care about races, religions, languages, opinions, right? They were, even as adults, they did not worry about these things, these discriminations. That is why they remained peaceful. And how did they achieve that mentality? Who taught them to be so ignorant of these things that's going to cause worry? So for that we need to understand one basic thing. Here, after the completion of first 2500 years, we started suffering pain mainly because we start following the methods taught by humans. That is the main reason we are in pain now. Because these human methods are actually referred as the Saturn's way in Bible and Quran, and in Hindu religion it is called Maya's way or Ravan's way. So it is only from the last 2500 years we have been following human methods, the ways given by humans. So no matter how attractive the human ways are, undoubtedly it's going to take you to the path of suffering. There's no doubt about it. All the religions created by humans were formed only in the last 2500 years, and before that there were absolutely no religions. They do not know about any religion at all. They do not even know the term religion. So that is why this was heaven, and they were filled with all sorts of treasures, not only happiness, peacefulness, but also they were filled with wealth, gold and all precious stones filled this place. Even the palaces were built out of golden stones. So the one thing that we have to understand is, okay, let me reveal the fact that who is going to establish peace again? God. Only He can do that. But how can He do that? Because because people have been thinking that all their religions were somehow created by God. That's actually created by humans. That's why we are suffering. God's way will not take you to the path of suffering. So how will God make this world heaven again? Because if you take Bible for instance, the Bible starts with the creation of heaven, and at one point when Adam and Eve disobeyed God's order, God got furious and He threw them out of heaven. And towards the end of the Bible, again their aim is to go back to heaven, right? So what is not revealed in all those religious texts was, it is actually a time cycle. This is the 5000 years time cycle. So the cycle obviously means it repeats, right? So here the peculiarity of this time cycle is, whatever happened in the first 5000 years, that is called kalpa, whatever happened in one kalpa, that keeps repeating kalpa after kalpa. For example, if you are watching this video now, you would have actually watched the same video 5000 years back on this very time, and you will also be watching the same video 5000 years after this on this very same day. So that's how accurate this time cycle is. So I have informed that the world is going to be at peace within 20 years, which means the world is going to be converted to heaven within the next 20 years, because we are now at this point. So in the last 100 years, God comes to this planet to give his direct teaching, not to establish any religion, but to establish heaven on earth. And what he teaches is the main core of his teaching is Raja Yoga, which means meditating on God. So if you want to meditate or remember God, the first thing that you should know is how God looks like, how to remember him, right? So God teaches exactly that, because so far in no religion there was any mention about how God looks like. Only God can reveal that. God comes. That is why he is being glorified in all religions, and God is one. And God now reveals the fact that it is you who ruled this heaven for the first 2500 years. And by you, he doesn't mean this perishable body. What he actually means is this imperishable soul that shines like a star in between the eyebrows. That is where our soul exists. And that is the reason why Hindus wear tilak right here, that religious markings called bindi or tilak. So since God comes to India every 5000 years once and gives this divine teaching, only Indians are somehow till date aware of the fact that there is something here. They do not know that it is the soul that exists here, but still, as a symbol of the soul, they still wear this tilak. And God is actually the father of all souls. That is why he is called Supreme Soul. The soul is actually called Atma in Hindi. So that is why God is called Param Atma, which means the Supreme Soul. Since God is actually the Father of all souls, he is called the Supreme Father or the Heavenly Father by Christians. So just as the father of this body is also another body, the father of all souls is also a soul. He is also shining like a star, very tiny star. Actually, the soul is the tiniest particle on this planet, which is why nobody has ever seen the soul either through naked eye or through any scientific equipments. It is impossible to see it. It is that tiny. And God is invisible basically because of the fact he is also as tiny as the soul, because he is also a soul. And this is the form of God, a tiny point of light. So where does he reside? Because if he comes in the last 100 years to this planet, where did he reside so far, right? Because since soul is imperishable, it obviously means God is also imperishable. So he should exist somewhere, right? We existed in between our eyebrows. So before taking this body, we would be there in another body. Before that, we would be in another body. So we continuously existed in some human body. But God did not come so far. This is the only time God comes, only towards the end of the world. That's when God comes. So where did he reside so far? Because we want to know that, right? Because that's our Father. He's the true Father. Because the fathers of these bodies, they keep changing, but the Father of the souls, he remains constant. Where does he reside? This is the place he resides. This is the abode of God. This orange colored light world. This is called Parandam, or the world of souls. So this point of light that exists at the top, that's God. That God is called Shiva by Hindus, Supreme Father by Christians, Allah by Muslims, and by several other terms by other religions as well. But the God is one. And before taking birth, we souls also remained here along with our Father. This is our home. So the basic difference between God and we souls are, we enter this birth and death cycle. God doesn't. He doesn't take birth like us, which means he doesn't enter the womb of any mother, which is why we do not see him. Nobody has ever seen him, probably because he doesn't have a body of his own. But still, it is only God who has this knowledge. Nobody else does. That's why we are not aware of these facts so far. Since he has this knowledge, he somehow has to deliver this message to us, right? And God comes directly. How does he come? He enters an old man's body and he names him as Brahma. And the only reason he enters this body is to deliver this message, which means he's going to use this Brahma's mouth to give this teaching. So he is called Brahma, and those who receive God's teachings directly from God through Brahma's mouth, they are called Brahma Kumars and Brahma Kumaris, which means the sons and daughters of God. And it is this same Brahma who was represented as Adam in Bible and Quran. So he is the great grandfather of all humans, because he is the first creation of God. It doesn't mean he created out of nowhere or out of mud, because we souls are imperishable, which means we have been around here continuously. There's no beginning to this cycle and there's no end to this cycle. Well, there will be destruction at this point of time. So at that point, all souls, they got liberated out of this body and they enter the world of souls. For a while they stayed there. After that they will again start taking birth. So this cycle has no beginning and no end. So this is the creation of God. He doesn't create the new world out of nowhere. what he actually does is he's converting the old world, which is hell, back to the new world, which is heaven. So what he basically does now is he is making us eligible to enter heaven. How does he do that? He gives his teaching so that we possess characters that these angels possess. They were called angels. Actually, they are humans as well, but since they possess divine qualities like that of God, they were called angels or deities, and they are being worshipped till date by humans in India. But they were not gods. They were also humans, but they were angels because they possessed angelic qualities, characters. So where did they get that from? From God. So God directly creates this religion. You can call it a religion, but only one religion existed on this planet. That religion is called Adi Sanatan Devi Devata religion, and that religion is nowhere on this planet now. So it existed only for the first 2500 years. And where did they all go? They didn't go anywhere. They just they remained very pure. That's the main thing. There was no lust, no anger, no attachment, no jealousy, no any sort of vices that's going to cause pain or harm to humans. They were totally ignorant of those vices. How's that possible? Because they did not consider themselves as this perishable body. Instead, they considered themselves as the imperishable soul. So they experienced themselves as souls, and they even saw others as souls, which is why they possess the power to conquer those 5 vices: lust, anger, attachment, jealousy, and ego. And these 5 vices are combinedly called Saturn. So Saturn is not somebody, it's not something, it is these devilish characters. So that slowly started to develop in humans only after the completion of first 2500 years. That's probably because they slowly start forgetting the fact that they were souls. Instead, they started believing themselves as this perishable body. So lust, anger, or any sort of vice they start to develop based on body consciousness. When they were soul conscious, there is no way that these vices can enter humans. Only when they start getting this body consciousness, these 5 vices, Saturn entered, and he started destroying the peacefulness of humans through what we see in current news. Okay, so how are they going to so what should we do now? First, we have to consider ourselves as this soul that shines like a star in between the eyebrows. We have to keep practicing this. We have to constantly remind ourselves that we are not this body, we are souls. And after that, we have to connect our mind to God. Actually, the mind, intellect, everything lies within the soul and not on any part of this body, which is why even after the death of one person, he still can come to his home So people call it ghost, right? So ghost is nothing but the soul without the body. That's it. So how do ghosts remember that it is his house even after the destruction of his body? That's probably because the mind exists in the soul and not in this body. So and the only thing the soul takes from one birth to next birth is the character, which is why God now, through his teaching and Raja Yoga method, he destroys all the devilish characters in the soul and imbibe the angelic qualities or characters. So the first step that we should do to achieve that is to consider ourselves as soul and connect our mind to God, who is also shining like a tiny star in this golden orange colored world. So the easy method to do that is just consider yourself as a star and remember God as a star that shines in a golden reddish sky. That's it. That is all we have to do. So what's going to happen by doing that? What's going to happen is we start receiving powers directly from God. So we will start feeling some kind of sensation, some trembling sensation here, which indicates that we are receiving power from God. The more we receive power from God, the more we are going to remain at peace, at bliss, and we will start becoming pure as in the beginning of this new world. So that is how God creates heaven on this planet every 5,000 years once. So here they won't fight for any reason, because since they consider themselves as soul, since they see each other as soul, there is no way to see anybody with lust, to see anybody with anger, attachment, ego, anything. That is why they remain peaceful. That is the only way to remain peaceful, and only God can do that. He doesn't do it with any kind of magical power. He is doing it by giving this divine teaching. His teaching consists only the direct knowledge and not the story of anybody, because it's we need not waste time to listen to somebody's story that's not going to create any impact on me, right? So what he says is our own story and not anybody else's story, as mentioned in religions created by humans. So please hurry to the nearest Brahmakumari center as soon as possible, because the time is very short. So make use of the remaining time. So go to the nearest Brahmakumari center. You can locate the address of the center by logging into brahmakumaris.org if you reside outside India. If you reside inside India, then please log into brahmakumaris.com. And as of now, I'm not creating any Brahmakumaris classes in English, but if you happen to be a Tamil speaking people, then you can watch daily Brahmakumaris classes, which is called Murali in Tamil. I'll give the link in the description, so you can, that's a separate channel. I'm giving Murlis in a separate YouTube channel, so you can visit it, or you can just Google BK Saravana Kumar, which is my name, together with Murali, BK Saravana Kumar Murali, or BK Saravana Kumar Tamil Murali. You will get that in Google or in YouTube search page. So that's it for now. So the world is going to be filled with peace in the near future. So the only thing is, are we going to be in heaven? If you take this teaching, if you imbibe this teaching in your character, then you will enter heaven. If you ignore this teaching, what's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen, because everybody is going to reach the soul world during the world destruction. So those who take this teaching, those who can achieve soul consciousness, they can enter. The more soul conscious you are, the more is the chance that you enter in the beginning itself, or else you will enter this world later. But if you ignore this teaching totally, so you will be remaining there till the time the world becomes hell again. So your birth will be in hell, but the same world was heaven for the first 2500 years, and the same world was converted to hell in the last 2500 years. But whether you take birth here, whether you enter this cycle only here, it doesn't matter. Once you start entering this cycle, the only way out of this cycle is towards the end of this world. So we have to suffer anyway towards the end. But why can't we enjoy in heaven? So if we are intelligent, we should enter this heaven, right? So it's your choice now. So keep practicing this yoga. It's very simple, right? Consider yourself as a soul, connect your mind to the Supreme Soul. Consider yourself as a point of light, remember God also as a point of light. That's it. And in addition to this Raj Yoga, he is also giving this divine teaching which will make you so happy. So I want you to enjoy it directly. Please go back to the Brahmakumari Center as early as possible. Let me just give you some 2 points so that you have to repeat it at least 4 times every hour. So by that you will start experiencing the change in mentality. First, God promises that after becoming a Brahmakumari, there is no way that anything bad is going to happen to you. He promises you this. So what you need to do is, you got to remember this. You got to remind yourself frequently of this God's promise, so that you will remain unshattered no matter what kind of obstacle you need to confront. So first thing, nothing bad is going to happen to me. Everything that happens is for my own good. Just believe it. Have this unshakable faith. So that's the first point. Because God is with me. I am the direct children of God. I am the direct child of God. I am the direct student of God. So there is no way that anything bad is going to happen for me. That's the first thing. And the second thing, everybody around me is good. They were good when they first took birth on this planet Earth. So only after following the Saturn's way, they became what they are today. So don't see their present character. Instead, focus on their past character, which was divine. So they are going to get back that character within 20 years, right? So just no matter how bad they behave in front of you, just keep telling that is not the body, that's the soul. It has to play its part because it's pre-recorded. Now I'm going to focus on his true character, which was divine character. So he was good. No matter how bad he was with you, just say to yourself, he was a very good soul, he was a kind soul, he was a very wonderful soul. Keep telling that. So whoever you confront, just send out these positive thoughts about him. You may not say that out, just say it mentally to yourselves. So just keep repeating this. So whoever comes to your mind, just start saying their positive characters. No matter how bad they are, they would still possess some good characters, right? So just say that to yourself. And also say to yourself the characters that you want them to possess. Just you imagine them that he has already possessed that character. So by doing so, by the power of your thought, you are converting them to the person whom you really wanted him to be. So keep practicing these 2 points at least 4 times every hour, then you will see the magic. Please practice it before commenting, right? It's very easy to argue. This knowledge is not to argue, because this is not the knowledge by any humans or any religious preacher. It is the knowledge of God directly. So it is purely your luck whether you are going to accept it and enter heaven, or you are going to reject your good fortune forever. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching, and keep spreading this message as much as possible to your friends, relatives, and so on. Please like this video if you like it, share this video, subscribe to this channel for more new videos on the way. Om Shanti.